Welcome back. We're taking your questions live tonight here on Law Call. You can call us 850-392-1544, 850-392-1544, or you can email us at lawcall@wmbb.com. That's lawcall@wmbb.com. We're talking about fighting the insurance company, so we're talking about insurance questions involving property damage, insurance questions involving slip and falls, trip and falls, insurance questions with health, death, disability, whatever it may be. Give us a ring and we'll take your questions here tonight. We've got an email question though. Let's go to that. Kind of a lengthy one here. It says, my friend had a wreck and needed treatment on his neck, but he made a mistake of saying he had hurt his neck a few years ago. So now the insurance company is saying his injury was pre-existing and not covered. It wasn't even the same kind of injury. What can he do? Lorraine. All right, so Lorraine, we're talking, and I'm going to assume that this is a automobile case, right. You know, because a lot of times we see this is what's called the pre-existing condition. And so in all of our viewing areas, though, it's kind of the same thing, whether in Alabama or in Florida. Once the insurance company finds out that you have a pre-existing condition or you slip up, then what happens? And let's talk about what a pre-existing condition is and how somebody can and cannot get compensation for it.
So in any personal injury case, the ultimate thing that you have to establish and prove is that the injury that you're seeking compensation for was caused by the accident itself.
It's legal direct causation.
Legally direct causation. So just because something happens and you need a procedure after the accident, that in and of itself is not going to get you there. You have to actually, ultimately you're going to need medical testimony, medical evidence to establish the causation that the injuries and the treatment that you're seeking after the accident was caused by the accident. So as a result, a lot of insurance companies are going to raise pre-existing injuries anytime they have that as an option.
Let's talk about a couple. Let me kind of break it up here just a little bit and get a timeout and kind of work something in here. How many pregnant women have had back pain before?
Right.
You know, I'm not going to raise my hand, but you know, my wife, she had back pain. Guess what? She had back pain because she's carrying a baby.
Right.
You know, and that so in the medical records it's going to say has back pain. You know, it's advise rest or whatever it is.
Right. Very few people are going to come to an accident with a perfect clean bill of health.
And that's what I was getting to. Do you have to be Mr. Atlas? Do you have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger? Do you have to be the Terminator to come in here and say, hey, look, I'm perfect. I'm in perfect health. I'm Jack LaLanne. I'm 95 and can do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups.
Very few people are going to be the 18-year-old athlete that's in perfect health when the accident happens.
So and you actually have a perfect athlete in a case right now. But let's finish this out here. This talk for Lorraine.
So very frequently there are going to be some prior issues that you came to the table with. And either the injury from the accident is going to make it worse, or it could be a totally separate injury. We have a lot of times where situations in the record, somebody's talking about they have a prior neck injury, but now this accident's a back injury, lower back injury, totally separate. And so they'll try to point to those, but those situations are not going to get them very far because it's a different area of the body. But even if it's the same area of the body, you have aggravation or exacerbation of a pre-existing condition. So it was at one level before, say you were at a 2 out of 10 on the pain spectrum, and then after this accident you're now at an 8 out of 10. And so that increased exacerbation or aggravation is completely compensable in a personal
or accelerated the condition.
Accelerated, whatever you may
whatever
have.
It may be. Put it this way, we've seen medical testimony from the insurance defense, I can't say that, insurance defense testifiers, professional testifiers. I can't say it. Right. I'm not going to call them what I really want to call them tonight.
They're doctors.
They're doctors, and they get paid millions of dollars to come in and say, "There's no injury here. It's not even an aggravation. This person had."
It was a temporary exacerbation.
10 weeks at most, and that herniated disc that now required surgery. That was going to happen. That was happening anyways, and that car accident where there's $10,000 worth of property damage had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Just give the poor little plaintiff the emergency room bill, give them 10 weeks of physical therapy, but screw them the rest of the time. Okay, that's about right.
Right.
Paraphrased it. Just save save the insurance company a lot of money for testifying for them like that. But we see that frequently, and it really hacks us off. And Lorraine, it sounds like that your friend here is unable to get medical treatment, and that now creates what called a gap in treatment.
Right.
How many times have we heard, well, they must not be hurt because they're not seeking medical treatment? And now we've got Lorraine's friend that says, we're not going to cover it, so what do you do? Lorraine's friend is like, What do? I hurt, I need medical treatment, I need help. What can we do?
Well, obviously you need to go get the treatment. I mean, that's first and foremost, even separate from the lawsuit. The only way you're going to get better if you have an issue is to go get the treatment and do what the doctors tell you in order to get you back to as close as you can be to your pre-accident condition. But it is important that you speak to an attorney to help you get the case framed in the right perspective, because as we can see already here, there was possibly a slip up here by the way the communication was handled and maybe misconstrued in the initial consultation with the insurance company. And that's one thing. Well, once an attorney is retained, all information has to come through the attorney that's facilitated to the insurance company. And that's just to protect you.
All right, look, we're in Northwest Florida, South Alabama, South Georgia. What's the favorite thing that Southern people say when they've been, how are you doing today, Ted?
Oh, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Everything's
okay.
okay.
And guess what? And you're being nice to the insurance
Right.
adjuster, and you're talking with them, and
they're recording that.
Those dangerous words.
Right.
I'm fine. Oh, well, you must not be hurt, 2 weeks later, 10 days later, a month later. Right. Because guess what? That very first conversation, you told the insurance adjuster, I'm fine. And so that's why we always tell people, please let an attorney speak for you and speak on your behalf. It's innocuous, it's innocent, but guess what? Those words will get turned
Right.
and twisted so terribly bad, they really become a pain.
Right, because at the end of the
else.
day, it's based on what the records show and what the medical testimony can establish is wrong with you and what's happened from the accident. And your subjective feeling when you probably were still dealing with concern over your property damage and what am I going to do, how many days I'm going to miss work, and everything's going on. And like you say, it's the Southern hospitality.
Right.
And people, nobody wants to be Debbie Downer. I mean, most people don't.
No,
and they want to take a positive spin on things, and that's a good thing. But in this case, it's one where you need to be 100% honest with yourself about what you're dealing with, and you need to get it taken care of.